Joining us today is Nicole Monte, a dynamic sales leader with over 2 decades of experience, with the last 13 in fintech, SaaS, and credit card processing. With a track record of scaling teams, optimizing sales strategies, and driving exceptional revenue growth, Nicole has made a lasting impact on the organizations she's worked with. Her expertise in mentoring and developing high-performing sales teams sets her apart as a leader in the industry. Today, we'll explore her career journey, leadership insights, and the strategies she's used to consistently achieve success. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me on, Paul.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into the questions. What moment in your career has taught you the most?
Yeah, I found this question actually very hard to answer because I can't say it comes down to like one quintessential moment that I learned and that aha moment. However, I wanted to talk a little bit about my time at Talech. It was the first smaller firm that I worked for. And so with that, I had a lot of scaling for them. So I came on as the sales director, head of sales. It's a small company. And really, what they wanted me to do was head up, develop an entire sales team and this entire sales process for referral partners. Previous to this, they relied on resellers. So this was a new endeavor for them. And so with that, I had to learn a lot. I worked with UX teams and product teams, go to market teams, onboarding teams. And then really we started driving our own leads outside of partners towards the end. And so I worked with marketing for SEO and SEM and just making sure that we're driving the right type of customers and leads to our team. And really, I found this job to be probably one of the most fulfilling jobs I had, but also the jobs where I learned the
hmm
most.
That's fascinating. And I think that's often what people see is that some of the toughest jobs where you learn the most are the ones that are the most intrinsically satisfying. So I think that's exciting. When your colleagues or team members describe you, what 3 words would they consistently use?
I actually phoned a few friends on this one
You used the
because
phone a
I
friend,
felt
huh?
that, yeah, I did. I did. I used a phone a friend. I thought this would be better coming from people who actually reported to me. So I phoned a few friends and really the themes that kind of came through was supportive, empowering, and mentoring is my leadership style. And I agree with that.
That's outstanding. Outside of your professional achievements, what passion project or personal interest has taught you skills that make you better at what you do?
Yeah, so I've been playing tennis and sports in general, but tennis since when the racket was bigger than I was. I was like 5 years old trying to swing a racket out there. But what I know tennis can be a solo endeavor, and most people probably think of it as like a one-on-one competition, and that's the reason why I'm sure most people immediately think, "Oh, sales," right? But that isn't it. I actually love the other side of tennis, doubles and team tennis. So as high school, we had a team, and you won and lost as a team. As an adult, I played USTA, and it was the same way. So it wasn't just about winning your court. It was about providing support and like training and working together as a team to make sure that the team won. And where that's really affected me in my work life is I take that same mentality to how I lead my sales team. So although it can be a solo endeavor, and yes, you want everybody to have that little bit of a competitive edge, I don't want them stepping on each other's heads to get above them. What I want is them to reach out the hand and pull them up to where they are and then strive to do better than that person that they just pulled up. And so I really like to run my team as a collaborative team instead of a cutthroat team.
I think that's important. Having been in sales myself for years, I've seen both sides of that. And as a salesperson, I would have very much appreciated that. So thank you. Can you tell me about a mentor?
Yeah, there's a couple of them that come to mind, but the one that I'm going to talk about is Mike. He was my very first leader as a sales rep. So 22, right out of college, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I knew nothing about anything pretty much. And the reason why I chose him is because I would say he taught me the most about sales. But I also moved into leadership rather quickly. So 3 years later, I had proven myself. He promoted me into a leadership role. And so he taught me a lot about leadership and probably one of the most influential things that I learned from him is to be tough on results and easy on people. And that is a very hard task to accomplish. So what I really learned from him is how you hire and how you set goals and how you talk to your employees before a challenge arises that allows you to be able to do that. So with my team, I set the goals and I relentless, right? You need to hit the goals as a sales team and as a sales leader. That's just not an option. And so it's a matter of the team knowing that I'm there to support them and empower them to hit those goals. But also, if they're having a challenge, I find that they're coming to me and going, "Man, I'm not hitting my goals. What do I do? Help me." So it changes that dynamic. Instead of me having to be hard on them to get to their goals, they're bringing it to me so I can coach them. And that's how you can be easy on the people, but still hard on the goals.
I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. What book or podcast has influenced you?
So from a book perspective, I'm going to do a little bit of a throwback. It's probably published in like 2005 or 7, showing my age a little bit here, but it's still one that's I think very relevant. Clifton Strength Finders, people still read it today. But more specifically actually the leadership side of the house. So they had a book for leadership. And what that taught me is that every person has a different strength. And sometimes you acquire people, sometimes you hire people, but it doesn't mean that your strengths are their strengths, even if there's a good collaborative relationship there. So what you have to do as a leader is understand your team and where their strengths are so that you can help lead them better. It's going to change the way you communicate with them, how often you communicate with them. And really that's caused me to be a more effective leader without having to micromanage.
That's an important point. It's an important point. If you could spend a day learning from anyone, living or historical, who would it be and why?
I chose Warren Buffett. To me, he's a business genius, right? Like he started out with songs and now he's multi-billionaire in business. But one of the reasons why I specifically chose him is I don't remember if it was an article or a podcast, I don't really remember, but it was talking about how he hires people. So as a CEO, he hires basically intelligence,
Hmm.
right? So he doesn't expect to know everything about everything. He hires the right people for the right position and then expects them to go do their job. And to me, I would love to be able to pick his brain about his hiring and how he does it because I think that is one of the biggest challenges that leaderships have is just how to hire the right person for the right job. And I would love to see how he does
Hmm.
that.
I know, having been a hiring manager myself, it is always tough to figure out what are the right questions to ask so that you understand who the person is and will they be successful once you put them in that role. I do see so often a lot of the hiring problems today are that the software that's automated pulls out the skills that are tech related or okay, I know how to do this thing or that thing or I say I know how to do those things, but do you genuinely and do you understand how to be adaptable and those things just aren't coming through. So I think that's a really important point. That leads me to what do you see as the future of your industry?
Yeah, I think the future of not only the industry I'm in, but just in general, multiple interests, products and marketing is
Mhm.
AI. I've been actually listening to podcasts and reading tons of articles on it as well. How it's really shaping and changing sales is just astronomical. It streamlines processes, it create workflows. So what used to only be utilized for like enterprise sales where you could do a customized presentation workflow and follow-up schedule because it just takes so much time to do that. They're now making it available and easy to use on every client, whether it's an SMB client or an enterprise client. You can now create customizable workflows like that. And that's really changing or a game changer, I should say, in this industry and sales in general. So I'm excited to see where that
Mhm.
goes. I know a lot of people are afraid that AI is going to replace me. I don't feel like it can replace a person. When people are making decisions, whether it's personal and $2,000 or $100,000 for a business, they need to talk to somebody. They don't want to just talk to a bot and go, "Okay, sign," right? They still need that human interaction. And what AI is going to allow us to do as a sales team is get to that decision quicker and more efficient
Mhm.
and talk to more people in a day.
I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. So, while we wrap up, is there anything that we didn't cover today that you think you'd like to share with people?
I think what I'm looking for really in my next new role is leadership. I strive I strive for leadership. It's a passion of mine. I love helping people and mentoring people and really getting them to the next step in their career, whether it's on my team or in a different channel or even outside of my company. What I really like to do is watch people grow and succeed. And I think that's a good overview of my leadership and what I bring to the table.
Mhm. Well, it's a great thing. And hopefully this will help you get there. So thanks so much for joining us today. We'll put all of the ways to reach you in the show notes and we'll get this out. But thank you so much for joining us. This was really insightful.
Thank you. I appreciate your time as well.
MTMG, guidance that empowers.